Choreb Beruach, Sword of the Spirit. Interpreted and narrated by Wendy. BeMidbar, Numbers, chapter 19. And Yahuwah spoke to Mushah and Aharon, saying, This is the guideline of the teaching which Yahuwah has commanded, saying, Speak to the children of Yisrael, that they bring you a red heifer without spot, no blemish with it, and is not yoked. And you will give it to Elazar, the priest, that he may bring her outside the camp, and it will be killed in his presence. Then Elazar, the priest, will take its blood from his finger and sprinkle its blood before the face of the appointed tent 7 times. And the heifer will burn in his sight. He will burn its skin and its flesh and its blood with its dung. And the priest will take cedar wood and hyssop and scarlet and cast it into the midst of the burning heifer. Then the priest will wash his clothes, and he will bathe his flesh in water. Afterward he will come into the camp, and the priest will be unclean until the evening. Also he who burns it will wash his clothes in water, and bathe his flesh in water, and be unclean until the evening. However, a clean man will gather the ashes of the heifer, and store it outside the camp in a clean place. And it will be kept for the congregation of the children of Yisrael for a water of impurity. It is for the purification of sin. Moreover, he who gathers the ashes of the heifer will wash his clothes and be unclean until the evening. Therefore it will be for the children of Yisrael and for the immigrant who sojourns among them for a continual custom. He who touches the dead body of any man will be unclean for 7 days. He will soil himself with it on the 3rd day. Then he will be clean on the 7th day. However, if he does not soil himself on the 3rd day, then he will not be clean on the 7th day. All who touches a corpse of any man who is dead, yet does not soil himself, defiles the tabernacle of Yahuwah, and that soul will be cut off from Yisrael, because the water of impurity was not sprinkled upon him. He will be unclean. His uncleanliness is upon him. This is the teaching when a man dies in a tent. All who come into the tent and all who are in the tent will be unclean for 7 days. And every open vessel that does not have a covering bound upon it is unclean. And all who touches someone who is killed by a sword in the open field, or a dead body, or the bone of Adam, or a grave, will be unclean for 7 days. And for an unclean they will take the ashes of the burnt heifer of purification, and put it with running water in a vessel. And a clean person will take hyssop, and dip it in the water, and sprinkle it upon the tent, and upon all the vessels, and upon the people who were there, and upon him whom touched a bone, or the slain, or the dead, or a grave. Therefore a clean person will sprinkle upon the unclean on the 3rd day, and on the 7th day. Thus he is unclean on the 7th day. However, he will wash his clothes and bathe in water, and be clean at evening. But the man who will be unclean and not soil himself, that soul will be cut off from among the congregation, because he has defiled the sanctuary of Yahuwah. The water of impurity had not been sprinkled upon him. He is unclean. Also, it will be a continual custom for them that he who sprinkles the water of impurity will wash his clothes, and he who touches the water of impurity will be unclean until evening. Furthermore, all that the unclean person touches will be unclean, and the soul who touches it will be unclean until evening.